Here's a shot of Mr. Freddy here. All right. You ready, Freddy? We're gonna go hit up every spot from A Nightmare on Elm Street. All right, here's your cast right here. Here's the original movie cover right there. Director Wes Craven. All right, let's get started. We're here on this embankment. You would have seen some skippers right before they arrived to school along these trees. Glenn and Nancy and Tina. And Rod was in that scene right on the sidewalk. Those skippers singing 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you right there. Notice that exact same roof still over there since the 80s. They show a shot and match that up. Here are the girls skip roping, singing that creepy song right at the beginning. And you notice that building right behind them. Still there, looks exactly the same today. Having a little get together, Tina's mom was out. And Johnny Depp, his first role ever, inside here. They did use some of the interiors, I believe. The alley from The Dream right behind the house. This was Tina's house. Her mom was out and they were having a little sleepover. Fortunately, Freddy crashed the party, and we see the demise of Tina right in there. What's more amazing though is the dream sequence she has, which they use the alleyway for the dream. First time you ever see Freddy in her dream, it's in this alley right behind here. We're gonna check that out. Shot of Tina's house from the front door right here. It was nighttime at the beginning of the 1984 film, and there's what it looks like in the movie. The house still looks just about the exact same it did in the film in 1984. And that's really where the story starts, even before you see Nancy's house or the Freddy house on Elm. They're here at Tina's. So right over here, it's the first place we see Freddy's shadow cast right here on these exact doors. That's where you first see Freddy's face. Tina's over here. Freddy's shadow right there. She utilizes this whole alley to run up and down. Still wearing a mask. But be cautious for people who live here. Respectful. This is the Freddy alley where Tina had that dream. Right behind Tina's house, Electric Court. Just off of Millwood. Pretty amazing. First time we ever see Freddy attack. Came this way. His arms extended. There's Freddy's shadow cast right there on that exact fencing I'm standing in front of. Insane that it looks the same in 2022 as it did in 1984. First time we see Freddy right there. Tina, you see his shadow there, chased her down here with his arms extended. She turned around to look this way, and then when she turns back here, bam, there's Freddy again. Chased her back up into her backyard and back into the back of her house. Whereas then, she met her demise in a very, very brutal way. One of the wildest deaths in slasher history. Poor Tina. Shot here of Tina at nighttime in this exact alley behind her house. Look, notice the fence and the stairs right behind her. And those sheds to the right, still there. This is Freddy's alley. Look at all the stuff Elm Street fans have left. Should be more Freddy's out here. Honor to finally film this. I'll show stills from the movie. Just wild to think. Robert Englund cast his shadow right there the first time. Right before the first kill in A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. It's a phenomenal honor to be right here. Walking around, I feel like Freddy's in here. This alleyway here, Electric Court, Venice Beach, California. Used for scenes with both Tina and Nancy. dream sequences. It's the Nightmare Alley. Amazing. All the stuff people have put up over the years. Pretty cool. Those exact steps can be seen in the film. Exact stairs. Nothing's been changed. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. This is Freddy's Alley. Still here. Shot alongside of Tina's house leading into the alley. Just to cover it from all angles. They did utilize the backyard here. The scene with Rod Lane. Look at this palm tree I'm standing beneath. That is a gorgeous palm tree. Yeah, they used the backyard right there. Too bad we can't check out the backyard, but there's Tina's house from the side. Okay. Here at the Cahuenga Branch Public Library, 4591 Santa Monica Boulevard. And this would have stood in as the 5th precinct, where Nancy's father worked the police department. Right here, Cahuenga Branch Public Library. John Saxon and his deputy would have run up the stairs into their police station. I think they used different interiors for the inside of the cop station. But John Saxon right here, architecture's still exactly the same. It's awesome. At the Cahuenga Branch Public Library, we get a shot here right after Tina's death. John Saxon and his deputy heading into the station right here. Here on North Genesee, I think you're gonna like this spot. Needs no introduction. We've arrived to Nancy's house. Well, I like to call it Freddy's house. 1428, not Elm, North Genesee, here in Hollywood. Just a stone's throw away from Sunset Boulevard right over there. Shows some cool matchup shots. They did use that room up there for Nancy's room, but other than that, it was pretty much just the exterior they used for the film. Look at that. The door is a different color, but it pretty much looks exactly like it did in the film. A shot of Nancy's house you get in A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, and you've seen the house doesn't look much different today. So many years later, door is a different color. They still keep it looking just about the same. Amazing. We're here at the Nightmare on Elm Street house. What an honor it is to stand in front of this house from a film I've watched since I was 8 years old. Wearing my appropriate shirt. There it is, Freddy. I'm at your house. He's never been here, but Freddy has. It is. Of course, you also see the house in A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Robert Russler, and then the house was heavily set dressed. Might not even have been the exact same house, but you see it in the other films as well. I always go back. It's basically Freddy's house. Another shot of the school from the front. There's a scene where Nancy comes out after burning herself in the classroom. And she runs just down here before heading home. When she goes down in the basement, when she's lured by Freddy in visions of Tina, that was filmed somewhere else. She comes out here realizing the burn was on her arm, and that it was a little more than just a dream. John Marshall High School from A Nightmare on Elm Street right here. So Nancy asked Glenn to do her a favor. Glenn's house right over there. He'd sneak up there into Nancy's window. She says, I want you to do a favor for me. Watch me as I sleep, as crazy as it sounds, and I'm gonna go try to find somebody. Nancy walks this way from her house. She actually walks right across the lawn this way, over to this sidewalk, calling back to Glenn to make sure he's still there. Nancy then comes this way, past this exact 3-step, pylons weren't there, but those exact fences were. An electric court. And then she walks this way, taking you on the exact path she walked. She peers into a window, which would have been over here, because they kind of reversed the shot after. Though it isn't actually this window, it kind of appears in the film. It's further down. And they show an angle over here. Nancy then peering through this makeshift door that they would have set up, just have her look through. I don't think this door was actually there, because you can see those garages behind her in the alleyway. She peers then through at the 5th precinct police department, and she wanders this way. Still in the dream sequence, she wanders this way up to Rod's cell. Rod would have been down here in his prison cell. She kneels down right here. He would have been right there in bed sleeping in his cell, and then she saw Freddy come in, and she starts yelling Rod's name. Freddy just looks up. Robert Englund gives that legendary Freddy chuckle. Cool shot of Nancy here, walking up to that library, which was the police station. Rod's cell just on the right there. Very cool shot of Nancy creeping up to the cell. Pretty cool. Freddy, just down in there. Robert Englund. Wonder if they use that interior for that. These are the same bars on the window. Nancy peers through. And she's peering through. Nancy then goes this way. Make sure Glenn's still watching. He doesn't respond. There was more foliage over here, but this is the exact corner. She's going this way, facing this direction. After they tussle a bit, Freddy chases her from the police department, which is a library, back here to the front lawn, where she finds Glenn is sleeping and not doing his job, and she has a little tussle. I believe that was the point of the tussle. She went up there, that whole staircase scene. She ends up back in her room. That's where she has the tussle with Freddy. And then the alarm wakes up her and Glenn. She was not too happy with Mr. Johnny Depp. You'll notice this right by Johnny Depp's head. I'll show you a screen grab. But Johnny Depp and Nancy run up here. Glenn and Nancy run up here to go into the cop station to address her father about Rod Lane. And you'll notice all this. They pass by all of this. You'll see that in the matchup shot by Johnny Depp's head, which I'm about to show you now. Back to the police station. Here's Johnny Depp making his way in behind Nancy. Notice the exact same architecture. Those circular things there made of concrete and the brick. It's insane, the architecture in this library, and how it all looks exactly how it did in A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. Unbelievable. Look at this amazing tree here. The police station from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Still got the bars in the window. Freddy emerged right outside this corner. See these things prominently in the film. That would have been Rod Lane's cell down there. The Cahuenga Branch Public Library on Santa Monica Boulevard. It said 5th Precinct up there. There it is, folks, in all its glory. Right here would be the angle you get. You see Nancy sitting here on these exact steps. Show a matchup shot after this clip, of course. Look at this, though. After Rod Lane's funeral takes place, we see Nancy sitting on the step right here. You'll notice this water damage guess that's water damage. This cracked area, just like that. In the shot, you'll see of her sitting on the step I'm about to show. I'm gonna sit on the steps myself, just like Nancy did. There is a wild noise from the birds in these trees. Yes, Nancy's sitting right here. The shot of Nancy immediately following Rod Lane's funeral, sitting on the third step of this really grim looking building featured in A Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm gonna go sit on the steps myself. Take it all in. Nancy, what is that? Right here. Right here. Right here. She was on these steps. A Nightmare on Elm Street. Absolutely fascinating. This stone, made famous. Could have been a famous person, I don't know, but made famous for slasher fans through 1984 as A Nightmare on Elm Street. Coulter McReynolds. You see an angle of this very prominently. John Saxon's talking to Nancy right here, and she's getting into the car, saying, I don't know. He's saying, if Rod didn't kill Tina, who did? And he's talking to her in the car right here, and she says, I don't know. But he's got a dirty red and green sweater, brown hat, knives for fingers, and then they put her in the car. Her mom says she's gonna get her some help. See that? Right through the car. There you see that famous Coulter stone as John Saxon's talking to his ex-wife right here, Nancy's mother, Marge. The famous Coulter stone. Bottom of the stone, as Marge gets into the car, Nancy's looking at her father. You can see the McReynolds right there. That's at the bottom of the Coulter stone. You probably see this monument quite well too. This is all behind John Saxon. John Saxon here in the cemetery. Notice that tall stone to his right and that row of palm trees over his left shoulder, which is actually a good distance away, but looks a lot closer in the film. Beautiful, one more shot of those trees. McReynolds stone right there. And the steps Nancy was sitting on. Can't believe that damage. Still looks the same as it did in the film. Look at that. Birds ominously sitting atop this very grim looking church-esque building. Seen prominently. Very cool. In A Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm sure when they saw this, they're like, we gotta use that. Just crazy. Perfect time of year to be checking this out. This in A Nightmare on Elm Street. This whole area. Yeah, this place is pretty cool. I wanted to do a full extensive tour around this place. Of course, it would be like a 1 or 2 hour episode to get all the spots from this film. There's so many. If I didn't have so much baggage, I would, but oh, look at all the birds. I'll just give you a quick little tour around now. Quick little tour around. Got a big agenda today, and this took way longer than I expected. Pretty awesome though. This was used in A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the main spot I wanted to find, where Nancy was sitting on the steps. It's too bad I couldn't find the exact spot where they had Rod's funeral. Wild anyway. Did you see that monument? And that ball one right there. So, funerals for Elm Street 3 would have just been in this vicinity over here.
What's up, brother?
Found you, Freddy. You weren't in town. I was outside your house.
Well, it's Halloween, so, you know, I gotta be around.
You're around. You're haunting everyone's dreams.
Happy Halloween.
Those are very lifelike. Wow. So glad I found Freddy for my Nightmare on Elm Street filming locations.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Right on, Freddy. Don't haunt my dreams. Don't haunt my dreams. You're looking good, man. You're looking good. Those nails are insane. Oh, okay. You won. You won the fight. Quickly across the street from Nancy's house in the film at 1419 would be Johnny Depp's house. Well, Glenn's house. Glenn Lance. Although you never really hear his last name in the film. Both these driveways were utilized as part of Glenn's house. That is a scene where you see his old man by the left pole, the left front step pole here, having a beer, his wife having a coffee, and he's wondering about these bars in the window, saying, I don't want that lunatic hanging out with our kid. Johnny Depp would talk to Nancy from his room right there, in front of that balcony thing there. To Nancy up in her room. It's insane. He's standing right here between Nancy and Glenn's house. Of Nancy talking to Glenn from up in her window. And you can see Glenn over across the street in his window. Just behind that balcony type thing. The chief police officer in Wes Craven's Scream had a role here as John Saxon's right-hand man. So when John Saxon arrived here, he actually saw Nancy screaming from her window, "Get my dad." The ambulance would have pulled in right here, and he mentioned, you don't need an ambulance, we need a mop. Cops were in this driveway. A lot of activity out here. Dude, Glenn met his unfortunate demise right there. 1419. Elm. Really, it's 1419. North Genesee. Saxon showing up at the scene. The ambulance to the right, in the right driveway, in front of Glenn's. All the cop cars are over to the left. As John Saxon shows up to figure out what had gone on. Pretty amazing. Glenn's house. Nancy's house. I'm on Elm Street. I'm in Elm Street. Sorry, I'm on Elm Street. I'm in Springwood, but I'm on Elm Street. Pretty cool to think. Johnny Depp's first ever Hollywood role. It's right here on this street. That was his house. Another scene just over here. Freddy attacked Nancy. Get you some nice full shots of this place. The Nightmare on Elm Street house. Pretty cool. There you go. A number of these trees right here, just outside of Nancy's house in the film. As Johnny Depp pulls up right over here to pick her up, at the end of the movie, her mom stood there on the doorstep waving goodbye. As the car rolled away and she was sucked into the doorway, just over here would have been, all these hedges were not here, but it was just over here in a grassy area where those girls would have been skipping and singing. That's it, folks. It's gonna do it. Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984 filming locations, done. We finally did it. It's been a long, long awaited opportunity to come and document this. Seen it before, never been able to document it. Should take my time doing so. Please like, please subscribe. Much more to come. Another look at Johnny Depp's house in the film, Glenn's house, Nancy's house. If you're new here, subscribe and I'll let you know when a new episode goes up. Check out other old filming locations, comedy movies, horror movies. Much up there, much to come. Never know where we'll be or what you might be missing on the Mr. Thrasha show, so always tune in. Thanks again, everybody. from Elm Street in Springwood, Hollywood. It's Hollywood. All right. See you next time. Walking away from movie history. So something that's wildly interesting before I go is looking at Nancy's house from here. There is an angle in the film that faces across the street this way, and you can see these trees in front of this house clear as day. Look at this one. It's got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 trunks on it. Look at this thing. You can see that right behind them. The Nightmare on Elm Street. Pretty cool. Glenn's house just there. That tree is a piece of movie history. Please like, please subscribe. I appreciate you tuning in. The 1984 real-life Nightmare on Elm Street locations. Such an honor to be on the real-life Elm Street. A Nightmare on Elm Street. Please like, please subscribe. Tell your friends about this video, other ones too. Join in next time. You never know what you may be missing if you don't tune in to the Mr. Thrasha Show. Halloween is upon us, Freddy. It was an honor. You can find my links for Twitter and Instagram on my channel. Ring the notification bell so you know when a new episode goes up. That right, Freddy? You never know what you may be missing on the Mr. Thrasha Show.